All right, episode 8, guys. What's up? Episode 8. Episode
Give
3.
it up for episode 8.
Episode, I think 3 or 4 of Quarantine Hodo. Dre, I see you switched up your background a little bit.
Yes.
Looks like Brooksy is back in Pittsburgh. He's no longer on the beaches of Erie.
Not this time. Just wait. I could change.
You never know what Brooksy's going to bring to the table.
He's
Dre's got
the true wild card.
some Pittsburgh Pirates legends in the background. I see, even
Paying
though,
homage to the great one and the roided one.
and Brooksy has gone to the Northern Lights. It looks like
I always wanted to go there.
Social distancing up here.
that was a fun trip. How you guys doing? What's been going on in the quarantine? How you guys keeping busy? What's been happening?
Dre, would you like to take it away?
I'll take it away because essentially it's the same shit, different day. It's COD, it's drinking, it's work, Really, we should probably edit that out. So,
Sell stock.
Right, what are you doing on your quarantine?
same shit, different day. It's White Claws, it's COD, it's cooking, it's just a vicious cycle. So I finished those arcs, so that's cool.
There you go. What'd you think? What'd you think of the ending? Without giving
Oh
it away.
my goodness,
Without giving it away.
mind was blown, and that's all I'll say. It is fast approaching near the top tier status.
It's in my top 10 right now, I would say.
Yeah, it's rapidly approaching
It's up
that.
there. What's your highest kill in Call of Duty? Do you play Warzone or do you play?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they brought in teams of 4. It used to be trios.
Yeah.
So in teams of 4, and my foursome, skill wise, I'm not the best. I can humbly admit that, and that's fine.
I'm right there with you.
But if I can get one kill, I'm hyped, and I ain't talking about a gulag kill. This one game I had 6 kills, and they were all and that was after the gulag closed, and I was so pissed because I destroyed everybody in my team in terms of kills, and I was doing so well. And the waste that sucks, but it's just stupid. But it's whatever. You start a new game. That's it. That's all there is to it.
I'm a 1 or 2 kills a game. What about you, Brooksy? What are you doing to stay busy, man?
Well, this week was interesting because like the last few before this one, like work was really slow, and then this was like the busiest week of like my professional career. So going from like nothing in quarantine and like getting used to that to this was like really awakening. But I've been playing some Warzone too. I've yet to get a kill.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time I played, when I went to the gulag, I wasn't aware that you like have to wait until you go down to the center, and that's when it counts.
Mm-hmm.
So I like came out and I was just like doing the thing where you like right trigger, and I was like, I'm doing it. And I was like, oh, this isn't anything. So I have some time to get better.
Yeah, I mean, you got plenty of time. Plenty of time to get better.
Playing on a team's cool.
Yeah.
I will say that it's really fun, but when you play solos, it's so different because you're alone out there, and you're like, "Damn, I gotta survive."
Sneak around. Like, what's next? Like,
It's a weird mentality.
Yeah.
How it just changes. So
you have like
lone wolf
eyes. Just for people, so you don't really know where anyone is. It's fun. It's fun though. It's a good way to pass the time. But yeah, it's been fun.
What about you, Mac? What are you doing?
Well, I played golf today.
What?
That was nice. Yeah, I went out and played golf.
Where?
You can play golf?
At a buddy's golf course. Yeah. He lives like in one of those communities where there's a golf course in it.
In PA?
Yeah, in PA.
In Pittsburgh?
Yeah, in Pittsburgh. Swickley.
Oh my goodness.
I got the connections, Dre. I got the connections, bro. Bro, there is golf courses out there where you can find places to play. You just got to be sneaky about it, dude.
I'm sure. I'm more in the fishing season right now. I don't think it's warm enough for me to go out and golf. I haven't even fished yet either.
It was literally like snowflaking today. I wouldn't even call it snowing because it like wasn't enough to like stick on the ground, but it was snowflaking.
Yeah, golf season's fast approaching, but I'm trying to go casting the streams right now.
Yeah, so that was fun. So I've been doing that and playing some Call of Duty. Working. Started a job at Amazon, delivering packages. Your friendly neighborhood Amazon man. So that's fun.
Can I request you as my deliverer?
I don't know. Where do you live, Brooksy? Let's see if I deliver.
Lawrenceville.
Nah, so I've been delivering in like Monroeville, like Edgewood, Swissvale, Wilkinsburg.
You go farther than Monroeville?
I haven't yet. I think people do though.
Okay. I only asked because
Like
I'm
that.
delivering a package to my mom on Sunday, and I was like, you might end up dropping it off at her house, so that'd be pretty funny.
You never know. I work on Saturdays and Sundays, so we'll see.
Pretty wild. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out. I'll let you know. I'll shoot you a text if I'm delivering your package.
I'll tell my mom to make you some food. She's a very good cook.
So yeah, I mean, just kind of been hanging out, doing a lot of reading, stuff like that. Not reading any books, articles, stuff like that. Trying to just catch up. One of the biggest news is one of the biggest things I saw this week, though. So as we talked about on the last episode, the MLB came out with a plan of starting their season in Arizona. And when we recorded last week, there wasn't really. We were just kind of going off Jeff Bassan's article from ESPN, basically saying that they have certain stipulations in place. But later that weekend, Brooksy, where did you find this picture? Was it through the MLB?
I think I just saw it on Twitter.
Okay.
Like somebody retweeted it.
Okay. So the divisions came out for this possible Arizona League. The MLB divisions came out, and they're completely different than the normal MLB divisions. So there's a lot of twists and turns. So today in episode 8, we're going to be breaking down the Arizona divisions, is what I'm going to call them.
The Arizona League.
The Arizona League.
Yeah, they're basing it off of spring training.
Yep. So it's not the AL and the NL. We got the Cactus League in Arizona and the Grapefruit League in Florida.
So are these the divisions they actually play in spring training?
Yeah. Well,
Well, it's based off of proximity, so it's teams that.
In spring training, they have the leagues, which are correct, the Cactus and Grapefruit, but it's 15 and 15 because records don't matter in spring training. So, they just go up and down for the records, and that's about it. But in terms of which teams where, I mean, that's where it is. Like, you see the teams are in the Cactus League, that's where they all have their spring training. Then same for
Grapefruit League
Grapefruit.
normally takes place in Florida, and then the Cactus League takes place in Arizona.
So are you guys looking at the potential realignments now?
Yeah, I have the picture pulled up on my phone.
I have the divisions pulled up on that.
All right. Yeah. So I saw an article today. So Fangraphs wrote about it. And I want you guys to guess the 3 teams that's their playoff difference or their playoff probability improved the most because of these new divisions.
Okay.
All right. And specifically the Cactus League or just all Major League Baseball?
All of Major League Baseball.
All right. Let me go first because I have all 6 here.
You go first.
In terms of improving.
If it helps, they're all in the Cactus League.
Oh, that doesn't help at all. But if I were to guess, I'm going to definitely say the Brewers, Mariners, and Padres.
Okay.
I mean, I got the Brewers too.
I'm just going off of power in terms of them. They had no chance making the playoffs. Now they have a snowball's chance making the playoffs.
I was gonna say the Brewers, the Diamondbacks, and the Angels. No, not the Angels. Yeah, the Angels.
Okay. The team that had their chances improved the most, the Padres. So in this, they're 54%, and in the traditional AL, NL, it was like 45, 46. So Padres, A's, Diamondbacks. And looking through the whole list, this tells you a ton about the divisions. So going down from who got the most benefit in this realignment to who got the least, you go through, where's the Royals, the Mariners. Every team in the Cactus League's playoff chances improved by this realignment to some degree.
I could see that. I mean, 'cause you see the Diamondbacks. I mean, they come out of the NL West where they have the Dodgers ahead of them. And now, I mean, I think the Diamondbacks would be the best team in the Northeast.
Mm-hmm.
See, and I look at the Northeast, and the Diamondbacks would easily win this, but the only team that really you can't make an argument for out of these 5 teams in the Northeast, the Cubs, Giants, Diamondbacks, Rockies, and Athletics, is the Giants. Just to me, just looking at their roster, I mean, that's the only team that I can definitively can say could not win that division. But everyone else, I think, could make a run in that division because the problem with the Rockies and Diamondbacks before was they had the Dodgers.
Mhm.
Now they don't have the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Like that opens the door, and there's no real legitimate powerhouse for them to compete against in that division.
All right, so just so our listeners have an idea of the breakdown we're talking about, and I'll share the photo when I edit the video. But just to break it down for you guys,
Brooks, you got the photo.
So in the Cactus League, the Northeast Division of the Cactus League would be the Diamondbacks, the Cubs, the Rockies, the Giants, and the A's. The West Division would be the Dodgers, the Reds, the White Sox, the Cubs, and the Angels. The
The Indians.
The Indians. Why did I say the Cubs? The Northwest would be the Brewers, the Rangers, the Padres, the Mariners, and the Royals. And now we go to the Grapefruit League, which is basically based out of Florida. The North Division would be the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Phillies, the Tigers, the Pirates.
Boo.
Would they do any better there? Well, we're going to talk about that.
We will. We'll get to that.
The South Division would be the Red Sox, the Rays, the Braves, the Twins, the Orioles. That's the division right there. This last one, it might be the toughest division though. The East, the Nationals, the Astros, the Cardinals, the Mets, and the Marlins.
You think that one's the toughest?
I think that one might be the toughest.
Because
I think the West in the Cactus League would probably be pretty tough too.
I think the West is tougher, and I only say that because the Marlins. With the Marlins being in the East in the Grapefruit League.
Yeah.
I think that kind of puts them way down.
Mm-hmm. And in the West, you have arguably the best or second best team, and then 4 immediate wild card contenders, 3 of which were probably the teams that made the most improvement and the most activity in terms of like acquisition. So the Reds, White Sox, and Angels.
Yeah, and then you have the Cleveland Indians, who have a rotation that stacks. One of the rotations in Major League Baseball, I believe, that stacks up against teams like the Dodgers and teams like the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
they're going to push over.
This is an interesting thing to kind of think about because, we always kind of talk about leagues like kind of reforming, or like for example, like the NBA adding expansion teams or the NFL adding expansion teams. There's any way possible to kind of see leagues in a different way. I mean, I think that it's been talked about in the NBA that they want to play like no conferences anymore. Just the top 16 teams make the playoffs. So this is kind of an interesting way to think about the MLB league and just the kind of the shakeup that would happen. But do we think that they would go to this and completely change everything up and then just end up playing the whole season in Arizona?
I'm not going to lie, even as a Pirates fan in that division, I really hope that they do this. If that's what it takes to get baseball back, like, I'm all for it. I'll lose 120 games or whatever. That's probably the whole season as it is. So I'll lose 100 or whatever games if that's what it takes to get baseball back. Like, I'm to that point right now where, like, I just want to see baseball. And
That's
them,
dangerous. Brief.
yeah, like that's actually where we're at in quarantine. That's how my quarantine's going. Like, just looking at this is, to me, the last time we talked about this, they didn't have a legitimate plan. Now, this to me, I believe, is a legitimate plan. This makes sense to get baseball rolling because you're centralized in two specific climates where baseball is prevalent, where baseball can be played, where it's not cold, and in my opinion, two states that aren't going to be overpopulous where fans are just going to flood in the stadiums. Like, these stadiums aren't 40,000 people deep. They're talking about maybe 10,000, and if they don't let fans in, like, this won't be as bad to watch baseball games that counts as opposed to watching them count in an empty stadium.
Well, from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, they would still end up playing all the games in Arizona, correct?
Half and half.
So they would end up playing games in Florida as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that makes
So like maybe there would be less restrictions on the players being sequestered. Like maybe the players can have their families with them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how exactly that would work, but maybe they would just have I don't know how the schedule works with when teams are playing who exactly. But you could just have all the teams in the North just stay in this one hotel. I don't know. At this point, I'm in the bargaining stage of grief where I'm willing to do a lot to get baseball back. But it is exciting. I mean, if we're gonna have it back, it would be cool to have it. And if it's gonna be a funky season, why don't you just throw the kitchen sink in with it, get different divisions, really just get funky.
Yeah, and to elaborate further on the funkiness, you could experiment with some things. This really opens an opportunity to experiment with the new rules, new proposal rules. Like rule number 1 that I think is going to be one of the biggest things that's going to happen. They were talking about as early as 2021, institute the DH. You could do it now across the board, no restrictions whatsoever, and no one will care because of the fact that you are talking about a shortened season with different divisions. You legitimately could just throw that in there for both leagues and say, you know what? No pitcher's going to hit. We're just going to go 9 batters across the board. Test this out, see how it works. You can use this season to test rules like that.
Yeah.
I mean, like you guys have been saying, I think it's a great opportunity. I mean, because it's not. I mean, it's an out of the ordinary season already. It's not going to be the same as it always is. So might as well use the opportunity to test things that they might have not tested in the past. I mean, we talked about it in the last episode. I think an electronic strike zone would be cool to test out during these times. I mean, it might not be something that's ordinary or well liked, but I think it's a good idea to at least try it when it's kind of needed at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
With this,
and it will allow us masochistic Pirates fans to watch Garrett Cole pitch against the Pirates a lot more.
Yeah.
And it'll allow us to get some accurate umpiring and get bums like Joe West on the sidelines. You know what I mean?
So I mean, I think it's definitely an interesting angle. So I mean, just for the sake of, I can unlock my phone. Just for the sake of fun, let's go through each division and basically repick our predictions to see who we think would come out on top in these situations. We've already breaking down the teams. If you want to go back and listen to our old podcast, you guys are more than welcome to see what each team entails and things like that. But we're just going to go through and basically pick our predictions for each division in this Arizona, Florida kind of alignment that we found. So let's start. We'll start in the Cactus League. You know, it's always fun to start out west. So we'll start in the Northeast, which includes the Diamondbacks, the Chicago Cubs, the Rockies, the Giants, and the A's. Dre, we'll start with you. Who do you think comes out on top?
So, first things first, I definitely remember my picks. The Northeast, I picked none of these teams to even make the playoffs. So that's number one. That's pretty crazy, and that's what's fun about this. Like, you know, it's a whole new ball game if this gets proposed. So just looking at the rosters, looking at the teams, I would have to go with the Oakland Athletics here. I really would. I didn't give them a chance in the West. I think I had them second, but missing the playoffs, you know, contending for a wild card. But now I think they can win this division. No doubt about it.
Brooksy, what about you?
You know, just to mix it up, give me the Diamondbacks. You know, I'll have them they benefit huge from no longer losing their two biggest competitive pieces in that division, the Dodgers and the Padres, and they get to continue playing the weak Giants and the weak Rockies. Yeah, I have the Diamondbacks edging the Athletics.
And I gotta add, that's a great pick because they have home field advantage.
They're going to be playing in Chase Field every
So if they don't make the playoffs, they shouldn't be allowed back in that state. Take that team to Montreal.
Take them to Montreal. I'm going to go with the Diamondbacks too. I mean, I think this is a team we kind of discussed in the NL West preview that is they're kind of right on the brink, but there's no way they get over the Dodgers in the NL West. That is. Now you have an opportunity. They're probably going to beat on the Rockies. They're probably going to beat on the Giants. And you never know what the A's are going to do. I think the A's are kind of that wild card team that could have a good year, they could have a bad year. We've kind of discussed it in the preview that you never really know, but they always end up somehow pulling it out. And then the Cubs are kind of a wild card team as well. I mean, you don't know if they're going to have the pitching to get it done. They have the bats with Rizzo and Bryant and a bunch of the other guys, and you just never know. So I'm gonna go with the Diamondbacks as well. I think they're gonna come out on top of this division.
I think what's crazy is that in our original predictions and now in our new predictions, I don't think any of us give the Cubs any type of hope whatsoever.
Yeah, I think that's true.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, me too.
I am too, but it's also crazy to see how far they've fallen since they've won the World Series. You know, Joe Madden's gone, and now you're talking about Theo Epstein might not even come back. So
they're petrified of the luxury tax.
They really are, and I think that's sad.
I mean, sometimes teams build themselves up for, a 2-3 year run at success, and then it kind of, in the long run, it kind of messes them up, and they kind of fall back a little bit. So we'll see how they recover in the future. But I mean, they still got guys. I mean, who knows if Chris Bryant goes back there when he becomes a free agent? They still got Javi Baez, Anthony Rizzo is still there. They still got Yu Darvish. Their pitching staff has kind of plummeted from what it was when they made that World Series run, and they traded a lot of their top prospects out of their system to kind of make those runs. Schwarber is still there. Who knows if he's going to be there in the future? But yeah, I mean, they're one of those teams that have kind of fallen off.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Them being a big market and them just being petrified of the luxury tax and seeing their window, capitalizing on it, but not being able to maximize it, I should say. That's the word I'm really looking for, is maximize their window.
Yeah, and they may not be the big baseball team in that city for too much longer.
Things are shifting to the other side, south side.
I think they're happy with the World Series, though. Breaking the drought, things like that. But, speaking of that other team in the south side of Chicago,
great segue.
You like that?
I love that.
Let's move to the Cactus League West, which includes the Dodgers, the Reds, that team in the south side with the White Sox, the Indians, got it right this time, and the Angels. I mean, I think, guys, in all the previews we talked about, I think in one shape or form, we all liked every single team in this division. We all liked them either in the wild card, winning the division, having an opportunity to get in the playoffs. Like we said, this is one of the toughest divisions. Brooksy, who do you think comes out on top? Obviously, I mean, I think we know the answer, but
I think the tougher thing would be who comes out on the bottom. I don't know. So Dodgers, they'll be fine.
Sorry. Go ahead, Brooksy.
I mean, I just don't think anything. They could have any number of teams all in their division. I'd probably still be leaning towards them. And if anything, the universal DH, that's how they're going to get some added bats in their lineup too. So like that offense is going to get even more nasty. Yeah, I feel like the Dodgers will be up in this tier, and all the other teams are just going to beat each other up enough that they'll all be at a similar record, but the Dodgers are just a step above.
I think this is like the NL West in a way, where the Dodgers are a step above everyone else, but where the rest of the teams in the NL West weren't really like another level up. Like I feel like these 4 teams are another level up from what teams like the Diamondbacks and the Padres were. Like I don't think there's a bad team in this division where there was like 2 or 3 not great teams in the NL West, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
What do you think there?
So before in the old alignment, I had obviously you had the Dodgers winning.
Yeah.
You have them winning 100 games. You're smashing their over if you're a betting man. You're
Yeah.
just doing every single Dodgers prop you can. I'm a little bit weary right here doing this one because of the fact that you're no longer talking about playing teams like the Giants, like
Yeah.
the Rockies. Every single one of these teams, you could make a case that they were going to make the playoffs before. In fact, I had 4 of them in the playoffs from before. So that's in the 5th team that I left out was the Indians. And the Indians, I think, have one of the best rotations in Major League Baseball. The Dodgers, their glaring weakness is bullpen. So I think that really is going to be amplified here in playing in this division. I don't see them dominating, but I think they pull it out. The question is who's going to be the one, I guess, to come in second, because I can see this division having a wild card team easily, maybe even 2, just because, again, how stacked it actually is.
Yeah, I think there's definitely either – I think there might be 2 wild card teams coming out of this division. You never know, depending on what the A's do in the Northeast. And, in the Northwest, you got teams like the Brewers, the Padres.
Before we move on, I do want to say one more thing.
Okay, yeah.
I feel so bad for Mike Trout. I really do. I know you shouldn't feel bad for the superstar, but he's the biggest star in baseball that no one, I feel like, just doesn't get the notoriety he still deserves somehow. And he got screwed massively if this actually happens, because he got to play against these 4 teams. It just sucks. I just feel so bad. Like, can we get this guy into the playoffs?
That kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I've been sitting on that, waiting for this, and I just want to say that. I just feel so bad.
In a way, you are right. That's a loaded division where Brooksy, do you still have the article pulled up?
The Fangraphs one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did the Angels lose? Did their probability of making the playoffs go down?
So their probability improved.
Whoa, I'm off base then.
So somehow, I still think that there's a lot to say here, that every team in the Cactus League, their probability improved, and every team in the Grapefruit League, their probability decreased.
Okay.
But so the Angels were the 4th biggest increase in playoff probability.
Wow.
So don't get that. I wonder what playoff system they're simulating by.
Teams or whoever was doing this must not think very highly of the White Sox or the Reds.
Yeah, that has to be 100% correct. We're pretty high on those teams.
Yeah, I was pretty high. I was pretty high in the White Sox. I don't know about the Reds like you guys, but I wasn't very high in the Reds.
The Reds, I guess. The Reds,
if this means anything, so the Cactus League.
Yeah.
Playoff chances. So that the Angels 7.6 improvement is more of a reflection on what their probability was in the AL NL.
Okay.
It was a little bit lower. Looking across this, so they have the Angels at 29.4%, the Indians at, this seems weird, 62.6%.
An increase or a chances?
No. Their probability in this system.
Okay.
The White Sox at 30% and the Reds at 32.7%. So the Angels are the lowest there.
Okay, so that makes sense.
And this playoff system that they're creating this forecast on is the top 3 teams get a bye, record-wise, regardless of division.
Yeah.
And then the next best 2 teams.
Well, that would make sense.
Yeah.
So are they all going to come from the West? Maybe.
So
entirely possible. That would essentially mean that divisions just don't matter then.
Yeah. That's great.
So
Okay. On to the Northwest. You got anything else to say about Mike Trout, Dre?
he's a goat. That's about it.
He's a goat. Very true. Northwest. So we got the Brewers, the Rangers, the Padres, the Mariners, the Royals. I don't really even know what to say about this division because it's not. I don't think it's very good.
Yeah, it's trash. Don't even sugarcoat it.
Yeah, the Padres have.
Like, is it the worst division? Like, am I? Okay. Okay. Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I just wanted
This
to
is
make sure
the
I was on the
by a mile too, a country
the
mile.
AFC East with no Patriots here.
Hey.
You're scarring them, Brooksy. You're giving them PTSD over there.
Gosh, so.
Yeah, you
The
Brewers
Bills
/ Bills over there.
He's
Yeah,
a
I
Bills
think
fan.
I think the Padres benefit the most here,
Yeah, 100%.
big
I think
time.
Brewers do as well.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I like that the Brewers actually benefit too because they're not dealing with that NL Central, which was going to destroy each other. Now it's 3 garbage teams in the Mariners, Rangers, and Royals. Well, not the Rangers so much trash. They just weren't a contender.
Yeah. Crazy. Who comes out on top?
Padres. I had
Padres.
to make them wild cards, so they win this division easily.
Yeah, Padres.
So are we going off the system where it's the 3 division winners and then 2 wild card teams?
Yeah,
So
let's do that.
Who are the 2 wild card teams in the Cactus League?
Did we talk about how like scheduling works? Like, is it a balanced schedule? Or are they playing?
Your audio went away.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I can hear him.
Now it's working. It like lagged for a second. I don't know.
Wait, is it like are they only playing within their division?
So
Or how is it working?
So I would assume with the way the schedule goes, like you play everyone in the Cactus League and then you have like interleague play, I would assume. I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah, so assuming that it's like that they're playing games out of their own division but in their same league.
Yeah.
Let's go with A's, our wild card team,
Okay.
and Reds. Get those pitchers out of Great American Ballpark.
Okay.
That'll be fun.
I'm gonna go with. This is tough. I'm gonna go with the Indians and the Angels because I believe in Mike Trout. I just honestly, and I know I just went on this crazy route. Like I feel bad for him, but like he actually got some help. You know, it's Joe Madden's there. He might be able to do something. So who knows? That division gonna beat itself up. But I mean, the rest of the divisions just aren't good, and you're not playing every single game within the division.
Yeah.
So if you can split that, but win every other game outside, you have a good shot. The only other team I can make an argument for, I guess, is the Brewers, but they lost so much that I don't think even the rest of the garbage teams in that Northwest are enough to really kind of vault them over the good teams within the West.
You know what,
the Cactus League West.
I don't like when we do these type of segments, I don't ever like going like after you. So you always steal my thunder. Like you always happen to like steal my thunder or like choose the teams that I'm going to choose. And I'm like, well, do I want to agree with him or do I have to go a different way?
Minds think alike there, Mac.
Because like I like the Indians in this scenario just because of their pitching staff. Like I think they can make a run. I'm gonna leave them off though, just so I don't agree with Dre. I'm gonna go with the Angels though. I'm gonna agree with you there because I love Mike Trout, and I feel like he always kills it when he's in Arizona in spring training and things like that. So that works. And then I'm gonna stick with my White Sox pick from the original prediction. So I'm gonna go both teams out of the West. And you know the young guys are going to be playing in that warm weather in Arizona. They're going to be energetic. They have the energy, and it's going to pay off. All right, so we just broke down the Cactus League. Now we're going to move on to the good old Grapefruit League out there in Florida with their oranges. Dre, what's the fruit of Florida?
The oranges?
Yeah.
I was like, good thing you didn't
Is
ask
this a
me
trick
that.
question? I could have sworn you just said that.
Well, the name is grapefruit, so I didn't know if you'd say grapefruit. You know, I was trying to catch you up, but
No, I too smart for that.
I guess so.
No, I definitely thought you were messing with me for a second. You said it.
I did say
You had
it.
oranges, and I was like, wait, what?
All right, guys. So in the Cactus League, there's the Northeast, the West, the Northwest. In the Grapefruit League, there's the North, the South, and the East. So we'll start with the North, and we'll go with your mighty Pirates, the Detroit Tigers, the Philadelphia Phillies, the Toronto Blue Jays, and the New York Yankees. So I think we all know who's going to win this division. Let's find out. Dre, who do you think is going to win this division?
If the Yankees lose this division, they should definitely have to move to Montreal. That's no joke. They shouldn't lose to the Phillies. They shouldn't lose to any of the other teams out here. I am more than anything just happy that as a Pirates fan, I get to see Vlad Jr. in that Blue Jays team up close and personal.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, the Yankees are stacked. They were stacked before. They're stacked now. It's like the Dodgers, except they have lesser competition now than what they did before.
Hey, Brooksy, how much percentage-wise did the Blue Jays' chances go up?
So in the traditional league, 3.7% chance. In this league, 3%.
So it went down.
Yes.
I feel like this division is worse than the AL East.
I would think that it's the Phillies.
Yeah.
That's my only real reasoning. Sorry to interrupt you,
I'm really
Brooksy.
high on the Blue Jays to have a good year this year, just because of all the talent they have. So I was just curious. I was like thinking about picking them as a wild card team, but now I don't know. Brooks, I'm going to assume you're on the same stage as us. You think the Yankees are going to win this division?
Yeah. Yeah, it will just be cool as a Pirates fan. Like, I guess there are probably a handful of other teams that are in the same position, but the Pirates, every team in this division is not in their normal division.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool. Instead of it will sort of suck to see the Pittsburgh Pirates of 2015 on the Phillies roster, but
yeah,
you can get past that.
I will be very excited to see Kutch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, I will rock that jersey faithfully. Love that man as a baseball fan, as a Pirates fan. I don't care where he went, and he's already played for the Yankees. Like,
can't get
favorite player ever. Huh?
It can't get much worse than that.
Yeah, like, he did the worst of the worst, and even then, I still can't get over how great of a baseball player and just person he is. So,
100%. So the Yankees come out on top there. To the South, we got the Red Sox, the Rays, the Braves, the Twins, and the Orioles. This is a pretty decent division. Couple young teams, couple old teams.
Yeah, looking at like the Grapefruit League as a whole, it's like they said, other than the Reds, White Sox, and Indians, for the Grapefruit League, they're like, okay, let's put every contender in here, and then let's add the best teams in the NL East. Like, let's add the defending champs, the 90, like, whatever win Braves of last year, and the Mets and the Phillies. Like, this is tough, especially this division. Yeah. I think this division's sneakily maybe the second best, a little bit more even keeled throughout. But yeah, I think I'll have the Braves pulling through on this one. No, the Devil Rays.
You got the Devil Rays.
Or the Rays. Sorry. The Rays. It's not too. Yeah, I'll give them the chance.
That's a sleeper pick.
I
wouldn't be surprised if Dre picked them though.
I will say this about the Rays. They're going to be playing in a nicer stadium in spring training than they will at the Trop, which is kind of disappointing and ironic that it took this whole situation for them to play in a new stadium. But I'm not going to pick the Rays. I'm actually with Brooksy on this, and I'm taking the Braves. I do like the Twins. a lot. But I have to go with the Braves here again because just thinking that they're going to be able to put a DH in there, and they're one of the teams that I think can benefit tremendously from having a DH, just because of the fact that they're one of the deepest teams in baseball, but they can only field 8 guys.
Yeah.
So Austin Riley's a guy I specifically look at, where he didn't really have a position last year, but they tried to get his bat in the lineup so many times because he was just mashing the ball. They cooled off, but I mean, he was a rookie. So now he's going into year 2. He's not sneaking up on anybody, but we've seen his ability to hit, and now there's a position that could be created for him as a DH. So, I give that advantage there. But the Twins are the obvious competition here.
I'm gonna go with the Twins for one reason. I think they mashed the absolute crap out of the ball even more than they did last year because of the pitching in this division. I mean, if you look at it, like Blake Snell, and then who's like the next big pitcher in this division?
Soroka, maybe. Soroka,
Barrios?
Charlie Morton, Tyler Glasnow.
Barrios is on the Twins, but yeah.
Well, I mean, Glass now, and but like, there's not much pitching, is what I'm, because I mean, the Braves don't have too many.
That's a good point.
The Red Sox are done because Chris Sale is getting Tommy John surgery. The Orioles don't have anyone, and they don't have to go up against their own pitching. So, like, I think the Twins are just going to hit the absolute crap out of the ball. I mean, for the most part, I think they come out on top in this division because of, like, their ability to just hit.
I find it really.
Did we have all different ones for this division?
Yeah.
Nice.
No, I took the Braves.
Oh, I started with the Braves, but I switched to the Rays.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, we did have all
I
different
flipped.
teams.
Interesting.
Intriguing.
Dre, before I move on, you got anything else? You always have something. You got.
Oh, no, I can save it for after we get to the next division.
Okay. So the Great League East, we got the Nationals, the Astros, the Cardinals, the Mets, and the Marlins. Brooksy, who do you got? This is a tough one, I think.
I don't remember what precedent I set, because I know in the normal league I selected the Angels to win the division, and I spoke very poorly about the team that we will not name who cheated. But I think the team that we will not name who cheated will win this division.
You're going to pick them over the Cardinals?
They're going to get revenge on the time that the Cardinals hacked into the team that we will not name's database. That was them, right? The Cardinals hacked into the Astros database?
No, it was vice versa. The Astros hacked in the Cardinals database.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past the Astros to do it at this point. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure. I think it was their GM hacked into the Cardinals database because he came from that organization. But don't quote me on that. I know it was both their teams involved though. So, as far as my pick, I can't. I'm gonna stick with my same precedent as before because in the old alignment they still had to go through a gauntlet in the Central. In this one, it's no different. I'm going with the Cardinals. I can't bet against them. I never can. They're the New England Patriots of Major League Baseball. They just keep cycling talent through their system that no one knows, and they become all-stars. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I mean, they're a powerhouse.
Their staying power is remarkable.
And I can't go with the Astros, even though I did go with the Astros, but I think the Cardinals are better than any team that was in the AL West before. And they're better than the Nats. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Cardinals. Even though I think this is a division where everyone just kind of beats up on each other too, other than the Marlins. But I think the Cardinals are going to be the team that's going to have enough to kind of get over the hump. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals. Who are the 2 wildcard teams?
So I feel like looking at these divisions, the South and the East, 4 solid teams, 1 crappy one.
Yeah.
The North, a very good team, a solid team, and then 3 mediocre ones.
Yeah.
So I think the Braves are going to get a wild card spot, and then the Phillies are going to take advantage in being in a little bit more of a favorable scenario compared to their competition. So I have the Braves and the Phillies.
Dre.
I'm definitely going Phillies. I think that one's a no-brainer, just looking again at the divisions. But in terms of my 5th one, I really, really want to take a step back and say that the Astros will benefit from this realignment, but I still just think it's going to be so rough for them this year, regardless of full stadiums, not full stadiums. It's going to be awful. I mean, you saw it in spring training. They got booed like crazy there. So I'm going to go with the Twins. That's the team I'm going to go with. Again, mashing the ball, the pitching. Jose Barrios I think his time is now in terms of taking that next step up to the big upper echelon, like the being mentioned with guys like Jake DeGrom and Scherzer and Kershaw. Like, I think his time is now.
Mm. All right. I'm going to go with the Phillies like both of you did, but I'm going to go with the Rays as well. I think the Rays are going to benefit being in that division coming out as the second wild card team. I just think everyone in the East is just going to kind of beat up on each other. I don't think there's going to be one team that's going to be able to separate themselves enough for the wild card race. So I think that's going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Phillies and the Rays.
I do want to say my general observation that I was going to have before is 4 of the 5 worst teams I think that we're going to finish in baseball this year are all in the Grapefruit League, and I find that really funny. Between the Marlins, Orioles, Pirates, and Tigers.
Mm-hmm.
So the 5th one would be the Giants.
What about the Mariners or the Royals? I think they both be in there.
The Royals. Well, now the Royals probably will fall down there. Before I wasn't putting them there because I thought that the Central, for the most part, was still weak-ish, where they could maybe steal a couple wins there. But now it's now I believe they're in a stacked division. So now their division's still kind of weak. Actually, probably got weaker with the Mariners and Rangers and the Brewers being in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they're still a bad team, but I think they could definitely sneak some wins because they're not playing against powerhouses.
Yeah, and I think the coolest thing about this completely hypothetical situation is like the potential playoff series that we may get, like to see Yankees, Braves, or just like different teams that we've never seen because they're in different leagues now in the playoffs. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's all. I mean, all the hypotheticals and things that come up with these type of situations are always fun to think about. It's like when you start a league on like NBA 2K or like MLB The Show, and you play like these ridiculous scenarios that would never happen in real life. I think it's fun to think about.
Yeah.
All right. But that is all the time we have for tonight, guys. So thanks for joining us for another episode of Heart of the Order, Quarantine Edition.
Sweatshirt.
Huh?
Vo? Sweatshirt?
Oh, yeah. So guys, Bo, Ryan Votash, he's our clothing creator. I don't know what his actual title is. I'm gonna call him the clothing creator though. Designed these sweet sweatshirts that are now on the tftvstore.com. You're gonna see a picture of them in here in a few minutes, a few seconds actually. Basically paying homage to all of the best MLB stadiums, MLB ballparks of all time. There's Fenway Park, there's Wrigley Field. I think there's Forbes. I can't remember.
Forbes is on there.
There's a bunch of them. They look really cool, so check them out. We'll attach a link and everything like that. You guys can check them out.
Yeah, they are sick.
Yeah, I'm looking at them now. They look great.
Bo really did a good job, and I think putting the full design, well, not the full design, but the main parts of the design on the stadium, and then being gray with a gray background gives it that old vintage look. Like, they are clean, they are awesome. Bo really outdid himself on this.
Mhm.
The idea really came to fruition. It was awesome, man. You gotta check these out. You know, if you're a Pirates fan, Orioles fan, Yankees fan, you know, or just a baseball fan, you know, Cubs. These are great sweatshirts. Like, the design is incredible. I'm definitely copping one. I might even get another one. You know, I might get that Polar Grounds one just to, you know,
Yeah,
just
that
to
one's really
have
cool.
it. It's sick. So, you know, I gotta tip my cap here to Bo. You crushed it, dude.
Good job, Bo. Good job. But all right, thanks again, guys, for joining us. We'll be back next week with more baseball talk. Hopefully, we got some better news. I know the league is talking about trying to be in good position to return once the coronavirus pandemic ends, and they get the approval and everything like that. So hopefully, we'll have some good news next time around. But thanks for joining us again. For Brooksy, for Dre, I'm Greg. See you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.
I